Path of Night is an actual play Vampire the Masquerade podcast set in the world of darkness. We're all friends, we're here to have fun, but our story can include graphic violence, drug use, sexual content, and other mature themes. Content warnings can be found in the show notes. We talk at our table about safety, comfort, and consent, both as players and storytellers. We know what to expect, we're all excited to be here, and we want you to feel the same. So listener discretion is advised. Now, let's walk the path of night.
Last time, on Path of Night, Wynn said an emotional goodbye to Neil before Neil left to find the kidnapped Britta. Miles killed and diablerized Upton Rollins, but in the process set a demon free. Johnny and Wynn back Miles up as he claims praxis and becomes the Prince of New Haven. Meanwhile, Prince Pendragon brings Britta to Borg's Gala. There, the coterie becomes further entangled in the regional politics, and Britta encounters Talmahai Ross seeking more information on Hell House. This about attack the Gala, killing many including Elsa Linden. Neil, Britta, Pendragon, and a few allies manage to escape. Displaced princes arrive to New Haven as Kabir calls Johnny and Wynn out of control as a storm worsens in Sri Lanka. A mysterious light flashes. We pick up again with Britta and Neil on the road, with friends and enemies. Roman Pendragon seems to keep Britta close, sort of watching the road as they go. The Bruja that accompany them, one is on each side of the little truck, watching for signs of trouble. Fester's at the wheel. Every now and again, Fester glances out towards Neil, looking nervous, either worried that the Sabbat may well be on their tail, or just uncomfortable in the presence of a moody Roman Pendragon. In the distance, as the group of you journey, you start to see glimpses of clouds starting to illuminate out towards the water.
We're gonna have to find. We left the party late, and we're gonna have to find someplace to. Fester, how close are we to New Haven? New Haven's closer than West Hartford, so I figured, unless we're not gonna make it to the. Do we have to look for?
Fester gives a nervous look. I don't know if we're gonna make it anyway at this rate.
Okay. If you can pull the truck over somewhere and we have a little bit of time, we can all sleep in the truck. So long as nobody gets mad about me making sure it's safe to sleep in the truck.
Point of order, one of the Brujas says. My lord, he turns to Pendragon. I sense that there is trouble. The Vikos watches us as we travel. I do not know that simply parking somewhere will provide us the shelter we need in order to protect ourselves from it.
Oh, no, I meant I could protect us from the sun, not the, I don't, to ward against someone's watch. Do you know how they're watching us? Is there a, we to get somewhere underground? Or?
Part of my training has me sensitive to such things. And if the Vikos watches, it is watching one of us. And with a little bit of hesitation, he looks towards Pendragon, who is clearly the, most priority target in the bunch.
Britta had been watching the Bruja, listening raptly, not just because of the danger, but because she's been so curious about starting to understand her own connection with her Auspex very, very slowly, that the idea of him having training in this matter is interesting to her own sensibilities, but then that rather academic curiosity shifts to a more raw curiosity at the somewhat hidden look.
As you sort of ponder your extrasensory ability, you tap into it just enough that you can feel a powerful psychic presence, like an animal sniffing at the back of your hair. And you get the impression that might likely be what this person's referring to.
Just to confirm, in case there's not layers upon layers of danger in the situation, she looks to the speaking Bruja and puts forward, that presence that feels hunting.
the presence of a hungry thing, yeah. Fester slows to a stop and pulls over. All right, sounds like we need to go over a plan.
Yeah, that's, if... So they're watching one person, not the area, and if they're not just looking at us from the astral realm and just kind of following the group of us around, even if they are, they would only be looking after, they can only follow one person if we scatter a little bit. Maybe return to our separate domains or go into separate areas and sort of hunker down for the day. They won't be watching us during the day. So, right? Presumably. They can't. I mean, the sun is still the sun.
The Vigos is capable of things that would seem odd even to kindred.
Okay, fair enough.
Pendragon says.
Are they in the... I don't really want to look. I don't know. Thoughts? I feel like
We're going to split into 2 groups. He looks at Neil and Fester. The 2 of you will be escorted by one of mine. You will lay low for a time.
But it's Pendragon, so he, falls quiet pretty quick.
You, he points at Fester, seemingly not having learned his name quite yet. Drive to the nearest hotel. We will stop there, split into separate rooms.
If we're in 2 groups, but in the same location, wouldn't that be... Is that actually... Why don't we just get, 5 or 6 rooms?
If you split into too many rooms, they'll simply burn the building down.
If we're close enough, we might be able to help each other.
Oh, okay, so, Fester and, Britta and I will be in one room, and...
No, that's not what I said. You, drive. Fester kind of turns around and starts her up.
Neil throws a glance at Fester and then throws, sort of panicky eyes back over at Britta. And it's wait, very clearly has an expression of wait, what? Okay, I thought I had things starting to get under control, and now I feel like I'm losing control of them again.
Britta gives Neil the kind of barely controlled neutral. There's a wideness to her eyes, but she is trying to keep her expression otherwise normal. And she just very slightly shakes her head if she sees him start to stutter and argue.
Okay, so we'll get 2 rooms, right? We'll be right next door. He still looks at Britta. We'll be right there, close enough to all help each other, right? Does your okay.
Neil, you're better than I am with the abilities of Auspex, if you can keep a lookout too.
I had thought about it, but sometimes things that you see can't help but to see you. But if you want, I can, yeah, I guess so.
I don't mean to.
No. I'll give it a look. And if you want, once we get to the hotel room, I can make sure that it's, your room. And he's looks at Pendragon. He looks at the space between Pendragon and Britta, not quite able to look at either one of them. I can,
or the lack thereof.
Yeah, I can help to ward it from the day if you want. These kinds of roadside motels aren't always the most secure. Of that, if you, yeah. But I'll look now, and Neil is going to first just sort of try and perceive someone watching from the astral realm, just see if there's literally is an astrally projected presence here. He's not going to advertise to everyone in the van the fact that is something he can do, because he doesn't want to get voluntold to go be an astral distraction. But he's going to look around. The lightening of the clouds is making the prospect of throwing his perceptions up into the stars not a welcome one, so he doesn't really want to do that right now.
When you gaze into the astral, you notice that there is no person watching. Instead, it is just a sensation, like a distant star looking down on you.
Okay. So if they're... I don't know how they're doing what they're doing exactly, but if it is similar to what I think it is, being indoors, they can't see us, and they can't hear us either way. So just as getting under a roof, yeah, good idea. And I'd say cloud cover would help, but with that level of potency, probably not. So, yeah.
Fester gets off the road into some barrens area where there really wouldn't be much of a kindred population. And there is the types of hotel, like extended stay hotels that give like little apartments, essentially. The group of you feel the truck come to a stop. That like little FedEx truck. I'll take care of the arrangements. Roman simply gets off the truck and beckons Britta and one of the Bruja to join him.
Britta dips her head and moves to get off the truck, sort of not quite avoiding Neil's eye contact. It's similar to when they were in the gala, of maybe if I don't look at him, then attention won't be put his way.
Neil is looking like directly wide-eyed, no guile, no subterfuge of what's running through his mind on his face, and almost looks for a minute like he's going to just like reach out and grab her. Like, no, if I don't let you off the truck, then, I can just pretend none of these problems happen. But she pretty successfully manages not to acknowledge the beginnings of the outreach hand.
Taking those steps off the truck, she makes sure that she is as presentable as she can be. I mean, with no shoes and doubtless, I think everyone here would be covered in, blood, smoke, ash, except for maybe Fester. Fester might still look dapper, but as far as she can handle it, just tries to use the act of pulling herself together to pull herself together. There's still sort of... part of it is keeping a lookout. This is an unfamiliar place in an extremely unfamiliar circumstance. And there's something so surreal about walking into an extended stay hotel's lobby with these kindred, presumably lobby, I'm not sure. But regardless, she's going to be heightening her vision, looking around, trying to see if there's anything important to be seen, but also just a little stuck in the oddness of that feeling in comparison to the unyielding tension.
Inside, there is just one person working the lobby, and they're just kind of quietly mopping. You hear a light echo through the space. I'll be right with you. They rush over to the counter. Roman approaches, and there's a quiet exchange between the two. The young man grabs a set of keys and lays them out on the counter. Roman takes one, looks to you, and says, "Come."
Okay.
The third Bruja takes a seat in the lobby and seems to wait.
Britta takes stock of that, and seeing that there is another key left out, does as she's told.
The last thing you see of that Bruja is they actually seem to take out a phone and start dialing a number.
I have my heightened vision up. Is it possible to catch a glimpse?
The only thing you will hear as you go, there isn't really much to see because of the angle.
Yeah.
You do hear him say, "We have a situation." Back on the UPS truck. So, we doing this thing, or?
I don't really know what's... As soon as Britta is out of sightline, like as soon as she steps out of the truck and Neil can't see her anymore, he starts getting like really agitated, digging through the seat cushions for dropped coins, or just looking for
Fester
things he
takes his
hasn't
hand.
dropped.
"Neil, we're heading to a hotel. Do you have any idea how much weird shit is lying around hidden that no one's seen in a while?
Yeah, I know.
Let's worry about that for a while.
Okay.
You just survived fucking hell.
Yeah, but I didn't...
You'll make it through this too."
I didn't do everything I was supposed to. We got enough ash, right? To make it through the night, make it through the next couple of nights. I don't have to burn anything to make it so that we can just keep going. Everything that we, And he looks over at the other Bruja, who's like, he's still in the truck with us, right?
She's just kind of stoically watching.
She's just watching? Okay. Hey, so, like, are we supposed to go get our key, or are we, what's the deal here with the,
Make the preparations you need, Malkavian. I'll keep you company.
Well, once we get into the room, those are the preparations that I need to do. I can't do it out here. I need to do it in the room.
Then go to the room.
Okay, well, I don't know where the room is. That was a question I just asked. Is like, we don't have a...
That is not the question you asked. Inside. Come. She gets out of the truck.
Neil, like, pulls his hands over his face. Truly, like, in the beginning stages of a low-grade panic attack, just starts following.
She heads inside. She actually gives the other Bruja a nod, picks up the keys, checks the number. All right, this way.
Is Prince Pendragon gonna want protections in his room for the son? And is he's okay? He doesn't.
He'll call if there's a need.
Okay. Yep. And Neil will just follow, like already sort of like rummaging through his fanny pack that he's strapped on over the tuxedo.
By the time you're headed out of the area, that Bruja that was waiting in the lobby heads over to the guy at the counter, grabs him by the shirt, pulls him close so that their eyes are meeting, and he starts to talk to him. And then you're off and around the corner in the hall.
I just need to know fanny pack over suit. It's not even a nice fanny pack.
That's what you get for having Malkavian friends, Toreador.
Once you guys get to the room, the Bruja that is accompanying the two of you stretches, and she says, I'm going to go take a shower.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Yeah, sure. Yep. Fester come with us?
Yep.
All right. I gotta, the sun's coming up. I gotta do this now. It's gonna take a little bit of time. Just, okay. I mean, you can open the door, but don't leave the last time we were in a, you know what? Doesn't matter. And Neil will just start slowly going through the stages of enacting a ritual, like drawing with blood and ash, his own blood, and there's plenty of ash about to mark the windows and the doors of the room.
By the time you're done, you notice that there is this odd thing that you noticed briefly for just a handful of seconds. The shower went silent. And there is a flash of light. Miles. You are suddenly jostled from some daydreaming as Johnny enters, closing the door behind him. You're standing in front of the mirror, adjusting your tie and preparing to address the domain. Things have been strange lately. Reports of unusual behavior, things in the sky, shadows that move on their own. The domain is restless, and the presence of these Assamites having arrived in force has caused every little problem to seem like an exposed nerve. Playing in the background is your TV, watching the news and stories of the horrors being experienced in Sri Lanka as a result of this sudden, terrible weather condition that they have.
Pulling down on the lapels of my new rust-colored suit, straightening my matching tie and white shirt. So is the court ready to meet with me?
Johnny gives you a look up and down, taking in the new attire you've picked out. He blinks a little bit, almost as if he's uncomfortable with the new scenario that he's been thrust into. Johnny stands about 5'9", or 5'10", 11, somewhere around there, just under 6 feet. He wears a thick biker jacket that has seen a lot of wear and tear. Small little scratches and wounds have been repaired all over the jacket itself. And it seems that he's gotten rid of his usual blue jeans and red and black buffalo check shirt for something a little bit more acceptable for your court. And what he deemed more acceptable was a pair of black jeans and a black button-up shirt.
I was very surprised you didn't pick white and black buffalo jacket.
He brushes his wavy dark hair back behind his ears. Well, I think they're about as ready for you as they're ever gonna be. This is your court, though, so you call the shots, and they'll dance to the tune.
Everything's been a problem since Well, since I took over, essentially, but I feel like that's just how things go.
We knew this wasn't going to be easy.
Yeah, the Assamites are a new, fun addition to the whole mix. Everybody's jostling to figure out what their place is now.
I think if anything, it just works in your favor.
I think more information and whatnot is always good. More vampires here comes with good, comes with bad.
I just mean that the other princes that have fled to your domain are less likely to take a shot at you when there's a new player in town that no one's sure about.
Yes, and they're all convinced that this is a horde of Assamite assassins waiting to strike from the cover of darkness at any moment.
Well, we don't know that they aren't.
I mean, I'd like to think that they're not.
Well,
at least not going to strike me from the darkness anytime soon.
Maybe not the whole lot of them, but who's to say one or two of them aren't?
Well, I'm going to have to hope to trust them, and we can hopefully get ahead of any of those coming out. But currently, not my biggest issue.
Well, what is your biggest issue?
All these strange occurrences going on.
Yeah, well, I think you should stop worrying about coincidences in the domain and start focusing on the actual practical problems. We still have Sabbat around.
They've been quiet since we struck the abbot.
I think they're probably just getting ready for their next move.
True. We do need to start hunting them soon.
We can't give them the opportunity to recover from this. We have to push the advantage.
Right.
Aside from Sabbat, there's a whole host in the domain that their loyalties are questionable, considering the fact that Operation Longbow is still very much active, and if Longbow reaches out to all of these new princes and decides to get their loyalty, well, that might be it for your reign, Your Highness.
I mean, I don't particularly like the way he said that, but I guess we'll deal with it as we come along. I don't really have much to do to stop that until at least Neil and or Britta are returned, or we hear information from them, because really they're the biggest contacts we have with them.
There is a knock upon the door.
Johnny looks over to Miles. You want me to get that?
I'm not expecting anyone, so...
Johnny strides over to the door.
Upon opening it, a very attractive woman with bronze skin bows. You recognize her to be Nara of the Assamites. Forgive my intrusion. I simply wish to warn you that members of the independent clans have arrived. An Ambrogino of the Giovanni and a Calice of the followers of Set.
At mention of the followers of Set, Johnny cocks an eyebrow and glances back towards Miles.
Maybe they finally come to ask for their own, at least, tolerance in this domain.
Johnny makes a expression that does not look amused.
Look, I'm willing to hear them out. Those fucks have been after me for a long time.
All right, Miles. We got enough problems as it is. Just try to keep that in mind.
Yes. Do not antagonize the snake people. I get it.
Yeah. Yeah, don't agonize the snake people. Let's start by calling them Setites, all right? Well, Nara, thank you for letting us know the independents have arrived. Where would you like to meet them?
We'll meet them down there. We'll take them in open court. No, make sure that Renwick is about if you could. I know you're not a messenger, but it would be appreciated.
Johnny kind of looks over at Nara, kind of puzzled that she's taken so quickly to becoming part of the court here, and he tries to remember what her position is.
So, she holds no official position, but works directly with the Keeper of Elysium to defend the Masquerade. While it might be seen as gauche to give an Assamite a position within the domain, she is certainly a contributor. The past night or two to do so. Your Grace, what do you wish for me to tell the independent visitors?
That I'm happy to meet with them, and I will talk with them in a few moments.
She bows her head and kind of makes her way off back to the rest of court, leaving the two of you again alone.
So we can get a room or something where you can meet them, but do you want to make some of your announcements first?
I think that might be best. I think we should get the court settled, and then we will grant them hospitality for the stay, so that we can have any discussions out in, where they're aware that they are safe. Just traditional stuff.
And you are planning on settling the court, right?
Yes, it's not my intention to get into more fights.
He gives you a wary eye. All right. I'll go get their attention for you.
We should go down together.
All right.
Let me just grab my katana here. I go over, I smooth back my blonde hair, grab the katana in the sheath, and make a nod for us to move out towards the court.
Together, you make your way into the court. And as you open the door, Tim,
Yes.
I need a willpower roll.
6 up.
8+.
That's a zip.
Okay. As you enter the court, you see there are various members of the domain who stand to greet you, and among them are 3 individuals in the back. Now, you have the Assamites who have joined the court, you have the former princes who have joined the court, you have the individuals who have already been long-standing members of the New Haven court. But in back, it is 3 outsiders. One of them is kind of a strong-jawed Italian man with like Bela Lugosi vibes in terms of like his haircut and the black suit that he wears. Beside him, seemingly having engaged in some friendly conversation before you entered, is a very attractive black woman with tight braids with flecks of gold kind of weaved into it. She has a lot of this gold jewelry that she's wearing. It's never like gaudy or too much. It's all perfectly, carefully placed. And along her collarbone, on her exposed hip due to like the low rise, like the low like hip jeans and like very dark acid washed like denim that she wears, you see various tattoos. All of them depict some form of hieroglyphics. Her lipstick has flecks of gold in it, the same with her eyeshadow. She very much has this look going that captures your attention instantly. It is Khalees, someone you have had many conversations with in the past. At her right, stoic and unmoving, is this hulking mass of a man wearing a suit. On his neck is the tattoo of a cobra, and for whatever reason, he is wearing sunglasses at night indoors and has a bald head. You recognize Cobra, the warrior of the Setites that you have not seen for some time. The court rises. When you take your seat, the court is seated, and the room quietly watches to see what you will say.
New Haven. The nights have been unusual, to say the least, and we're here to discuss the unusual activities that have going on and to see if we can come to some sort of consensus or path forward to hopefully dealing with them. And maybe it means nothing to the Court of New Haven and it's just oddities. Hoping that a few of you will come forth in the coming night to discuss what you may know. Currently, we have some guests. Any ushers for Ambrosino and the others?
Which do you invite to you first?
Ambrosino's the oldest, correct?
You have only what I have described.
Oh, God. Yeah, I'm going to go with Ambrosino first.
Ambrosino strides forward. Good evening, Your Grace.
Good evening.
I have traveled far to the domain of New Haven in search of a protege, one who I have taught the secrets of the Giovanni to with the expectation that she will perform services in exchange. Much to my disappointment, Wynn is not present tonight. I was hoping to speak with her.
I'm searching for a term of respect here.
Why don't you go ahead and roll me an etiquette at difficulty 8?
Etiquette what?
Intelligence.
Nah, you got this. It's not a big dice pool. Come on, do I? Fuck it. Yeah, I do. I don't want to piss this guy off. 2 successes.
Okay. With 2 successes, you are aware that provided you are not actively insulting to him, an array of titles might work, but something like Sir or Mr. Giovanni, all of these things are perfectly acceptable. You're not personally aware of what Giovanni titles are, how they work, but so long as you are not actively insulting him, he is probably not going to take offense.
Mr. Giovanni, I will inform Wynn that you're here and we shall make it so that you can come together as soon as possible. She is currently dealing with something that is important to the domain, but I understand her obligations to you.
Thank you. Surely you can understand that in these tumultuous times, my ability to wait is limited.
I will send her a message as soon as we're done here.
Thank you. He bows his head deferentially to the prince, and once excused...
Before I excuse him, you will find that you will have hospitality in my domain for as long as you need.
Thank you. And while I would normally accept this for another man, the Giovanni promise already grants me this.
Fuck.
Congratulations on your new praxis.
Ouch.
And he turns and heads to the back. The court carefully doesn't whisper.
Yeah. Of course. All right. I will gesture for Khalees and Cobra.
Cobra escorts Khalees out into the open floor. She bows perfectly. Your Grace, I have been sent by those who I serve, Nofred, as you well know her name, because there is unfinished business between your Grace and the followers of Set. We forged an alliance through battle against the wayward Bruja, and we risked our numbers on behalf of you at your request. It was understood that in exchange you would open your minds to the gates of Set, and I have simply been sent to see that promise carried out. Now, there are reactions. The Assamites, Nar in particular, are perfectly still when Khalees speaks, but it is like energy that is still and waiting for the opportunity to be suddenly in a great deal of motion. They're poised like fucking jungle cats ready to strike. Others don't quite seem to understand exactly what's being said, but the Tremere do. And they kind of also watch you expectantly, likely because they are aware of the agreement you turned down from Reese.
And the Bruja?
Predictably. There's this quiet fucking knew it coming from some.
Miles takes it in for a few, looks it over. Mrs. Khalees, I do indeed recall the debt that I owe the Assamites for preventing...
I'm going to let you roll etiquette.
Shit.
Give me a Wiz plus etiquette difficulty 6. I
will take 7 successes.
Okay. How would you like to rephrase that? Can we start from the beginning?
Mrs. Khalees, I am aware of the debt that I owe the followers of Set for their help in prevention of the previous praxis. And I am aware of the terms that I had set at the time. Last time, I was aware it was a debt owed, but it would be nothing that I did not wish to do. This Gates, while mentioned previously, was not anything that was agreed upon. I am very open to discussions about how to fulfill this debt to the followers of Set.
Your Grace, the debt was clear. Surely you do not believe that the followers of Set would risk their own lives in support of you for such a frivolous trade?
I believe that the followers of Set were very wise in seeing the past that may come about and saw that this debt was worth more in the future than anything previously they were offered. I am very happy to fulfill my end of that bargain, but I wish to do it on terms that I understand, which was part of the agreement.
The followers of Set preach enlightenment.
Johnny rolls his eyes.
All we intend to do is meet such a request, to make you aware, to open your eyes. I would free you from the aeons, and I think we might have some fun.
I think this is best discussed behind more closed doors, where we figure out this agreement.
Respectfully, Your Grace, I have been sent to collect you. The debt is to be paid tonight.
You are to collect me.
Indeed, Your Grace. I am to escort you and ensure your comfort.
Yes, but that is not what you said. You said collect me.
Yes. You would hardly be the first prince collected by Nofred.
I'm sure.
Does anyone in the crowd of princes look uncomfortable with that comment?
Oh, yeah.
I have much pressing business tonight, so, as stated before, I am willing to have a discussion, and it may involve me going along with you.
Respectfully, Your Grace, I did not come here to negotiate an agreement that has already been made. The Ventru Marcus Vital speaks up. Your Grace, they come offering snake oil. Why don't we simply remove them from the domain so that we can carry on with the business that needs to be handled? You have my support, brother.
Khalees, the agreement that I made was negotiable from the get-go, and it has not been established. I am not going to be strong-armed into being collected this night. We can have a discussion about this, or you can leave.
She bows her head. If you refuse, I am left with no choice but to inform Nofrit of your honor. Cobra grunts. Almost like a good one.
As stated before, I'm aware of the deal that I made.
Thank you for your time, Your Grace. She bows her head. And she starts walking away. Back to you.
When she leaves, until the followers set can produce someone that is not going to challenge everything I say, I will find them no tolerance in my domain.
What is Johnny's reaction? Because Garrett's reaction is great.
Johnny, who's probably been kind of standing a few paces off to the side from Miles, has just been kind of looking at the muscle the Setites have brought and kind of trying to look at opportunities where he can break that. He kind of just looks smugly satisfied and surprised that Miles going this far to just stick it to the Setites.
In other new business, it's been a few days, and I would like to establish the positions of the New Haven Court. For the position of Seneschal, I would like to promote Johnny.
Johnny kind of looks over at you like, you fucking stupid? And he kind of instinctively reaches out and grips the marble hand railing next to him.
Even though he has been standing in the Seneschal spot.
Give it a game. Don't give in to your instincts, you two.
For Keeper of Elysium, I would like to promote Dashwood back to the position he held in the previous administration.
He stands and bows, Your Grace. Thank you.
For my sheriff, I would like to promote Wynn Cabot.
There's a quiet applause.
And for Scourge, I would like to promote back into his original position, Renwick.
Mr. Renwick stands and bows. Thank you, Your Grace.
Out of curiosity, what kind of mien does he wear in court? The same that we have seen him previously in?
Yeah, he's a pretty nondescript man.
Unassuming.
Easy to overlook, yeah.
My understanding of the current primogens, and I wish the clans, if they wish to change these or I have a misunderstanding, to please come see me and we will rectify. Currently, the Brujah previous primogens is not around. For now, we'll have Johnny.
The marble railing cracks and breaks apart under his grip.
As the primogen.
Pieces of stonework fall clattering to the floor.
See, that railing must have been weakened during the previous praxis.
If the court notices, they leave Johnny alone this time.
In terms of the Malkavians, I believe that is Nyx. The Gangrel, Wynn. The Toreador is Elsa. The Ventru, I will currently maintain as the Prince used to. For the Nosferatu, was Renwick. And for the Shamir was Reese.
Shh! Nyx speaks up. She looks to Dashwood, the radio. Give me the radio. And he gives her this fearful look. And he takes out this fucking radio he carries. And he gives it to her, and she starts moving the dials about. Not totally competent in the use of a radio. And this tune starts to come in, sounds some sort of newscasting in another language. And she gets up and she starts walking out body twitching and ear pressed to the radio.
Gonna politely ignore that. I would ask the Primaging Council to reaffirm our harpy as quickly as possible so that the domain can be whole again. Otherwise, the strange occurrences in No Haven are concerned to us all. I wish to take a brief break, come back to that, and please be ready to present any of the findings or knowledges that you may have so that we may best be prepared to handle anything coming our way. And I get up
The court stands.
and I walk off the stage so that they can get about their business and so that I can text Wynn.
Johnny broods after him.
As the two of you head off to the side, you take out your phone, you get ready to send a text message using your T9. And the two of you hear the click of the door closing behind you as a handful of individuals come out of Obfuscate. Grace.
Johnny spends blood to up his physical discipline, or his physical stats.
Okay.
Yes.
Congratulations on the announcement. We are longtime supporters of the Camarilla, as you well know. I was the Prince of Newport not too long ago myself. But you seem a little over your head.
There is much to repair in New Haven. It takes a little bit of time to do these things, as you understand.
Respectfully, I've seen the storm that is the Sabbat, and you don't have time. So, I have a little proposal for you, me and the guys. He gestures to the handful of kindred that are with him.
What kind of kindred am I looking at here?
The big thing that you're actually going to notice here is these guys are incredibly nondescript. All of them have brown hair. All of them have brown eyes. All of them are on the same height. All of them are dressed in okay-looking street clothes, clean and not wrinkled up, but just kind of street clothes.
What is your proposition?
My proposal, Your Grace.
Johnny reaches behind his back and grips the knife hidden in his jacket.
It's Praxis Initiative.
Could I have spent for 1 round of physical increasing?
Jim Davis?
Yes.
Yes, you may. All right, gentlemen, the initiative is going to be as follows. Miles, you will be acting first out of 19. 2 members of this ambush, quote-unquote, will be acting on a 12 initiative. Johnny, you're on 9. The remaining 3 act together on 8. So, Miles, we're on you.
All right. With the flashing my blade coming out of its scabbard, I will point it at one person, pointing my sword at the prince, essentially, and looking at one of the other faceless goons, I will order them to kill. I am using command.
They have a willpower of 6.
-2 difficulty for voice, so that'll make it a 4. 8 successes?
With 8 successes, the subject of your ire finds themselves compelled to turn on their ally. We will go to the 2 individuals that will be acting on a 12. The first one reveals a crowbar hidden behind his back. You sense the presence of a ward when the weapon is brandished. And he takes his crowbar and he swings it on you. They have 3 successes on their attack.
So this is new, so quick addendum. On my turn, can I spend 2 points to do personal armor?
Yes, you may.
All right.
Fucking gross.
2 points of blood.
Correct. I roll fortitude, difficulty 8. Looks like 2 successes. Dang it.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead to damage.
Yep.
You will be rolling against 2 sources of damage. One is an immediate 3 lethal that you're hit with. And then this will be whatever he rolls for his attack. So it will be 3 damage and then 2 damage.
8 successes.
So you have soaked all of the damage caused by the ward, and now you are rolling soak versus the damage of the actual blow itself.
Looks like 4.
The blow hits. You find yourself unmoved by the attack. The other individual reveals claws. They too have 3 successes on the attack.
And because claws equals ag, we roll just
Right, you will not be using your
fortitude.
stamina.
Doing my personal armor roll. Nope. Only 1 success.
Okay. You will be rolling your fortitude against 1 ag.
3 successes.
He rakes at your suit, shredding the rust-colored jacket as he claws at your back. and we get to Johnny.
So quick recap. How many individuals are in the room?
There are 5 men assailing the 2 of you. 2 of them have already attacked, one with a crowbar that radiates this baleful energy, and the other has struck with claws akin, though not quite as long and as impressive as Wynn's.
Mine's bigger.
So there's 3 other individuals, one of whom he pointed out and used a whammy on.
Yes. So two who are yet to attack.
Including the prince.
Cool. Johnny is going to draw or actually, right as combat started, he drew his knife. He has a long trench knife in his hand with a set of spiked knuckles over his fist. And he is going to plunge that into the head of the guy who was talking. Potence on damage. Is that per attack?
That is for the round.
For the round. So I'm going to go ahead and spend that now.
Yeah. It's a knife, so diff 5.
6 successes.
5 dice will roll over into damage.
So 6 successes on the dice, plus 5 additional for potence. So 11 lethal.
Okay, so he's going to roll soak. He does have some fortitude. With 5 successes, he only takes 6 levels of damage and is smashed to the ground with a knife buried in his temple. He twitches as his nerves are played with by the knife, but he seems just active enough to be able to move. After that, 3 actions are taken. The first of the bunch reveals the switchblade, and they turn under the directive of Miles and stab their ringleader. They hit with 1 success.
Way to go, buddy.
For 2 lethal. And the ringleader stays up. After that, the ringleader goes, and he attempts to dread gaze Johnny. What is your Wits plus Courage?
A 6.
Johnny.
Yes.
His wounds are so significant that while he growls and bares his fangs at you, the knife that's buried in the side of his head kind of keeps him from looking impressive enough to affect you. He has botched his roll. He may not utilize presence on you, period. The last one reaches out and grabs a hold of Miles. And then we are on to celerity actions. Miles, are you taking any celerity
I have
actions?
2 celerity actions.
What is your first celerity action?
More than likely cutting this guy's arm off that's holding me.
Okay. In order to do that, you will need to break free of his grapple.
Sure. What's that entail?
It is a strength plus brawl roll, and it does take your action to try.
3 successes?
3 successes is enough to escape the full Nelson that he tried to keep you in. Johnny, how many celerity actions do you have?
5.
Well, let's see about that first one.
Johnny's first celerity action is going to be stepping on the handle of the knife that he buried in the leader's head and use that to leverage a pop on the top of the skull. So he's going to curb stomp his head.
Because of his prone position, you're at a +2 die bonus.
9 successes.
Okay.
That was taking away 2 ones.
8 successes will roll over into damage.
So that's 1 plus 8 plus my strength, which is currently 6. So that's 8 plus 5 from my potence, so 13 damage. This is a boot stomp, so that's bashing, but I did describe stomping the knife.
Utilizing the knife will make it lethal.
So 13 lethal.
Okay. He has 3 successes, so he will take 10 levels of lethal damage with 1 health level he had remaining. So, the boot comes down. There is an awful squelching noise. And some of it ends up on the ceiling, some of it ends up on your clothes, some of it ends up on Miles. But where your boot landed, there isn't very much left. And aside from the missing head that is surrounded by gray matter gore, his body quickly begins to rot. He doesn't turn to ash, but he definitely turns into this old, dry, desiccated corpse. The others look shocked at what they have seen and too afraid of the consequences of what they might suffer if they yield. They continue their attack, albeit perhaps too slowly, as we go back to Miles.
So I throw off this guy's arm, so it sounds like it's katana time. That'll be 5 successes.
4 will roll over into damage.
4.
He will soak 1 and take 3 levels of damage. He is not made to frenzy by this.
Great. So it sounds like I hit off the arm with one and just come down with a diagonal slice just straight through the middle on him. Classic.
Oh,
Feels good.
Johnny.
Johnny will pivot on the spot and come up with a vicious rising uppercut to the guy with the switchblade and just try to take his head off. 10 successes.
Jesus.
Oh boy. Okay, so 9 are going to roll over into damage. There's at least a row of 7s that I say.
mm-hmm.
With my potence, that is 16 bashing damage.
Gross.
It will soak 1, taking 15 levels of bashing damage, but it's bashing damage,
So they half it.
and the kindred condition halves that into a mere 7 health levels of bashing damage, rendering them unconscious.
Getting a Johnny Saxon to the head.
They flit back, they land on their neck, they stop moving. Johnny, as everyone around you is moving very slowly by comparison, you begin to realize that you have time on your side, and you can continue your attack, you can light a cigarette, you can do almost anything you want to them in the meantime. Please take your remaining 3 actions.
Are there any heavy objects in the room?
There are expensive things are often heavy, and so there are portraits on the wall with big, heavy, expensive frames, a massive desk, huge chair covered in thick, heavy, expensive leather. Fortunately, Miles has provided you an arsenal.
Everything I have is very heavy because it's all expensive. That's right.
The money makes it way more.
As tempting as the desk is, he might need that for business later.
Business.
But is there maybe like a large marble bust or statuette standing somewhere along the way?
I'll consider that a question for Miles.
You had mentioned tasteful art had been a previous description for this office. I don't know if that's included, but I recall those words.
Yeah, I'd imagine there's some sort of bust or statuesque thing. I haven't yet figured out what it is, but I feel like it's not going to matter in the next 10 to 15 seconds, so, you know.
There is a marble bust of the famed Roman general Scipio.
Well, Johnny is going to grab Scipio's face and overhanded smash Mr. Crowbar into the ground. Since he attacked Miles, is there any chance I have his back?
I will say yes, because it is hilarious.
That's 2 dice?
Yes.
It is.
6 successes.
5 will carry over into damage.
This object come with damage.
I was going to say, what is the damage rating on a marble statue of Scipio?
I'm going to give that a 4 die damage bonus.
For the irony.
No, it's marbly.
I was going to say that.
Erika, you did that.
13 levels of damage, which I'm guessing is lethal with the marble statue.
It is. They will soak 3 and be reduced to torpor. Scipio is reduced to powder.
Salted the earth with that motherfucker. I've got 2 actions left, and we have the claws and the guy who's been struck by the katana. For my 4th celerity action, I'm simply going to grab the guy with claws. Just 3 successes to grab him.
Sufficient. He is grabbed. Celerity 5.
Johnny, with one hand on each of his arms, I'm just going to simply try and literally pull his arms out of the sockets and disarm him.
I do like the theme of New Haven. We're going to take your arms off.
No touchy. Welcome to New Haven, no touching.
Hands off or hands off.
I'm going to call it a clinch, so you are rolling strength plus brawl for damage.
Understood. And I'm going to go ahead and spend a point of willpower on this. Why not? If that's okay.
It is okay.
6 plus my 5 levels of potence. That's 11 damage.
They soak 2, so they will be taking 9 levels of bashing damage, which is then halved to 4 levels of bashing damage. You very easily dislocate one of the arms with a very loud popping noise. And then you can, even like under his t-shirt, you can see the way his skin stretches, adding inches of length to his arm. Round 2. Miles.
What is that one guy left that I've in front of me?
There is one guy. The other one is currently in the grasp of Johnny.
I'm going to look him in the eye with the blood. I don't think blood drips off my sword unless he wants it to. So just, and command him to be still. Current willpower?
He has a willpower rating of 5.
So that'll make him a 3.
For you, yes.
6 rounds?
He remains still. His turn. He remains still. 5 rounds remaining of being still. Johnny, your turn.
Johnny will continue to try and wrench the arms free. And that'll be another 11.
Okay. He rolls over into lethal damage, falling unconscious, and his left arm is torn clean from his body.
His grace likes to keep those that raise fingers to him. And he tosses the arms towards Miles.
I didn't spend the first celerity this turn.
I didn't spend celerity either.
Yeah, good.
Miles, a pair of arms lands at your feet. It's your turn. What do you do?
Johnny, raise a hand to me, not raise a finger. And then I will kill this guy. My quick drawing
motherfucker right here.
If you're going to shit talk, do it accurately.
A level of unprofessionalism.
Just as there might yet be another round of combat, the silence is filled with a buzzing noise for Johnny.
Johnny does not carry a cell phone.
I know, but he has a beeper.
So Johnny kind of like rolls his eyes at the beeper, withdraws 2 stakes from his jacket, and will stake the remaining 2 unconscious vampires.
It is hilariously easy for you to press a stake through someone's ribs, which is not easy.
He pulls the beeper off his belt without looking at it, kind of just points to the 2 of them. We might not want to kill them. We might want to question them about some of how they did this.
See if they had more conspirators.
That crowbar looked awfully weird to me.
It definitely was.
He looks down at the beeper.
It is an SOS from your daughter.
Is there a number attached, or...?
It is her number attached.
Johnny kind of pushes past Miles over to the desk and sits down and picks up the phone and calls the number.
I look at the torn space where my coat is, just ignoring Johnny. More than likely it's something concerning to him, and I did give him shit at like 2.5 seconds ago, so feels about right. Look at my poor bust of Scipio.
The one eye that's left looks back up at you.
Dismayed.
I knew it was coming, bro. I'm sorry. And pull the 2 bodies off while he's making his phone call, and basically give him the semblance of room. And then I will send the text to Wynn that I was starting to do before I was rudely interrupted by some lesser prince. Wynn, your mentor Ambrosino is in town and has hospitality and would like to meet you as soon as possible.
Wynn, you've received a text message. After this kind of slightly disorienting flash of light, the TV is playing. Something on the news, you don't really care at this point. Right now you're just worried about Kabir, who is lying on the ground, on the floor, occasionally twisting and murmuring about something in his weird, torpid-like state. You can feel his pain. May I have a willpower roll? Difficulty 8.
Don't love that. 1 success.
Okay. With 1 success, you experience a strange sensation. In an odd way, the lighting in the room shines a little brighter than maybe it should, and things don't line up like the atoms that make up the universe around you aren't aligned the way that they're supposed to be. Something is wrong. Reality is unreal. And in this moment of clarity, you realize that you may have some sort of power over it, to a very limited but existing extent, as you ponder whether or not anything is true, and if everything is permitted. One of the windows to the motel room begins to grow cold, so cold that you can see the frost building up on it, and through the other side, the eyes of a cat.
When time has been a very strange thing. Now that she's been looking at the world through basically like an attempt at 3D vision, but without the glasses, and she keeps getting these glimpses of the world with the glasses on, her first thought is to look and see if Kabir is still next to her.
When you look to Kabir, what condition is he in? You may use that point of willpower to take narrative control for this moment. Do you seize this, or let it go?
If I seize it now, does that mean it's gone?
You receive a number of opportunities to do this that you may use, equal to the number of successes you have had.
At this time, I will not seize narrative control.
He shivers and quakes as nightmares rack his body. Beads of blood-red sweat form at his forehead, and you can tell he is having horrific, feverish nightmares.
Wynn makes contact with the cat eyes at the window for a brief instant, sort of to acknowledge that it's there, but she's doesn't generally give a shit when Mr. Perfect shows up. Wynn has posted up by Kabir, and it's been forever, it's been for an instant. It doesn't make sense how long it's been. She has a small stockpile of towels and blankets and books. She's been beside him, tending to him, but maybe he's also been asleep. Maybe time has been longer. But she takes one of the towels that's nearby and wipes his face and just kind of squeezes his shoulder. I'm here. It's gonna be okay. She doesn't know if it's gonna be okay, but might as well comforted a man if possible.
As if the universe conspired to prove you wrong, the lights in the motel go out. The TV flickers back on. Snow and static become loud in the room, distractingly loud. And you begin to hear the news report. A storm. A storm coming in the Shadowlands. The underworld perishing. The sixth great maelstrom. The sixth great maelstrom. The sixth great maelstrom. No little boy can survive.
Is it the newscaster's voice or a different voice?
It is a different voice.
Whose voice is it?
You're not terribly sure. But then the bathroom light turns on and starts to flicker on and off and on and off and on and off. And every time it comes back again, some sort of humanoid shadow grows longer. Hey girl, I've got some bad news.
I know you're here, so how much worse can it really get?
Bold question. That storm you've been warned about, that eventuality, it's coming. The whole cosmos is cracking like an egg, and what's inside is about to surface. You're not gonna like what comes about.
I get the feeling neither are you.
Well, it depends. The cynical side of me welcomes in the opportunity to see you suffer. I'm willing to tolerate a lot just to see that happen. But there are some things even I dare not think of. Some things that are better left unimagined for fear it may come to life.
Is that why you keep coming to me? So you feel like you have some power over the things you're afraid of?
You're a medium, girl, that we're all meant to come to you. That's the price you pay for looking where you shouldn't.
Wynn kind of gives a smirk, but doesn't say anything.
They call it the sixth great maelstrom.
I know what they call it.
They also call it the last
Yeah,
great maelstrom.
I know that too. Why are you here to tell me things I already know?
Because there are things you don't, and I'm here to sell them to you for a price.
It's cute there's things you think I need from you that I can't get from other people.
Things that you need? No. But what about Joey?
What about him?
Don't you think Joey deserves a chance away from it?
Why are you asking me that?
Well, you challenged whether or not you needed something. And I think you do. I think Joey needs something. I think that old Charon still has his boys out and about. And the boatman may be able to save him. But he's got to get to the boatman.
And you think that you're the one to make the escort?
Well, I think I'm the most likely to succeed. Not my dice to roll, though, I suppose.
And what do you want in return for this uncharacteristically altruistic act?
I want out of this place. I want out of the storm. You see, way back, way back, that storm opened up the labyrinth to the great beyond. And something came out. The, scientific term is Malfeyan.
Yeah, it sounds real scientific.
I don't make the terms. But Charon, oh great hero of the dead, rode out to face it. 1v1, the son of a bitch. And he, the greatest among us, the most respected, most powerful, he won the night. But it cost him everything, and now he's gone. And I was one of them. One. And they? Well, let's just say they're not the top of the food chain. Grandma's waking up.
Grandma who?
The antithesis of God. And she's hungry. And boys like Joey are easy pickings. I'm not much safer. While Joey might have an opportunity to find his peace and move on, I'm just looking for a place to lay low.
Why do you think you deserve that?
This isn't about deserving. This is a matter of transaction. So what do you say? Do it for the kid.
Is Joey's fate something I can control with my one narrative control?
Joey's not in the scene.
I would like to fuck around a bit with some necromancy.
Let's find out how it goes.
Wynn is attempting to compel Mr. Perfect to ensure that Joey is safe
Okay,
in the best way she knows how.
The roll for this is going to be first against a point of blood, and then you are going to roll manipulation plus occult against his willpower at difficulty 6.
And I am going to spend a willpower on this. Have I been refreshed at all, or am I still sitting where I was?
You are sitting where you were.
Okay.
How many successes do you have?
4.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 successes on the part of Mr. Perfect. So, there is a drawback to this. If the ghost wins, the vampire loses a number of points of willpower equal to the ghost's net successes. So, you will lose 3 points of willpower. You exert necromantic power over the specter, but find yourself having underestimating how interconnected and willful these creatures are. And he shakes free of the magic just long enough to give you a glare. You bitch!
Can she now exert narrative control?
You may if you so choose.
Our roles are flipped. I won by 3.
Understood. You see things starting to go wrong, and you bank on that inconsistency in reality, and find that it worked. That as he hisses at you, He suddenly begins to grow quiet as you issue your command. Now, with 3 successes, the vampire may issue 3 orders as outlined for 1 success. Alternatively, they may demand the ghost fulfill 1 difficult and dangerous task, or a simple assignment that has an extended duration up to 1 month. The ghost may delay such orders with willpower. Now, 1 success. Okay? The ghost must perform 1 simple task for the vampire that does not place it in certain danger. It must attend to this task immediately, although it can delay compulsion and pursue its own business at the cost of 1 willpower point per scene. The ghost may not attack the vampire until this task is complete. It is possible to issue the task of answering 1 question, in which case the ghost must answer truthfully and to the best of their knowledge. So, what is going on? Is you can send it to do 1 really, really dangerous thing, 3 very simple things, or something that is not terribly difficult to do, but he is stuck doing it for a month. So, what do you compel Mr. Perfect to do?
What I would like is to tell Mr. Perfect, you will send me a ferryman who will ensure my Joey's safety as he moves on.
He lets out a hiss. As you wish. The shadows, the lights, the TV playing, everything kind of returns to just as it was, and kind of standing inches off the ground is Mr. Perfect. This ugly, desiccated thing with the eyes of a cat and old, tattered clothing. He gives the last nod, clearly wanting to fight it, but then he is gone. Also, Kabir is gone, and you are alone in the motel.
Wynn takes a minute. She would like to celebrate this victory.
And you feel that as you shoved reality in favor of yourself, something else happened.
She will activate spirit tracking and attempt to find Kabir.
Johnny, who do you call?
He grabs the phone off of Miles' desk that he mercifully left standing, dials the number on his beeper for his daughter.
Dad?
Jessica.
Dad, it's pretty bad. I don't know if you know what's going on. We don't know what's going on. But everything's crazy right now.
Did you go to that house?
No, not yet.
Thank God. Well, all right. Tell me what's going on.
Dad, there's a wolf man.
Johnny's blood freezes.
Whatever's going on, it's causing the things, the monsters in New Haven to just go crazy and...
Wait. A wolf man. Does it have white fur?
I didn't get a good look at it, but it was big.
Does he know anything about you?
I don't know, Dad. Do you know this thing?
I might.
We need your help.
Where are you? I'll be there as soon as I can.
I'm at the Yale campus. This thing is prowling around. People are hiding everywhere, and I don't know, everyone's going crazy.
Do you have any silver, Jessica?
No, I don't.
If you or any of your friends can find pure silver,
Silver?
it is a bane against these creatures. Do not fight it. But if you are cornered, silver is how you can fight it. I will be there as soon as I can, baby. I am so sorry.
There is a noise like crunching metal in the distance, and she hangs up.
Johnny holds the phone to his ear, listening to the dead air for a second longer than he should, his lips almost trying to force more time for him to tell her that he loves her, and then he puts the phone on the receiver. Miles, I have to go. My daughter's in trouble. Do we have any silver left from when we fought the lupines?
You have your gun.
Does my gun have silver?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, silver bullets.
You were checking it towards the end of the last season when you were taking Neil out to do his ritual stuff.
That's right. So we have the revolver with the 6 silver bullets.
Correct. I think Arabella got it for us.
Johnny does indeed draw the revolver from its shoulder holster and check on those 6 silver bullets to make sure they're there.
They are all still there. Now, Johnny, I need a willpower roll at difficulty 8.
2 successes, both 10s.
You have 2 successes, and you head to Yale. The campus is huge. but you find yourself able to pretty easily find where this trouble might be happening. And over in one of the residential areas, you see one of the old, like, late 90s Volkswagen Beetles. Now they used to be, like, the bright colors. There's, like, a green one that is flipped upside down and smashed. There are cars that are parked all over the place. Some have, like, been caught in minor fender benders. There are no people around. And that rare occasion where you do find someone, they're hiding, shivering, curled up in balls, and afraid and waiting to die. Delirium.
He lowers his head, and he listens carefully for sounds of violence on the air.
You walk through the densely populated area that is somehow, over the course of moments, transformed into a ghost town. You can hear the footfalls of your boots. This place has never been so quiet. And eventually, you hear footfalls, kind of moving behind one of the old stone and mortar walls.
He unsheaths the revolver and turns to face the source, gun pointed at the ground, and braces himself for whatever's about to come around the corner.
You're around the corner, and there's Ramirez, who shines a flashlight on your face. Ah!
Johnny puts a hand up to cover his eyes.
Oh, what the hell, man? Flicks the flashlight off.
Has Johnny met Ramirez? The cab driver. I was thinking Suarez. No, I was thinking Suarez. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you have not met Suarez. You have met Ramirez.
Ramirez? What? Are you with my daughter?
So no, I mean, we were together, but we were blindsided, and before we could reassert the sight, we split up.
Johnny starts kind of walking over.
I'm trying to find
him.
Everyone.
Puts the gun back in its holster. You okay?
Yeah, are you here to fight the monster?
Johnny kind of sighs. Yeah.
Oh, buddy.
Honestly, I think it might be my doing.
You're doing? Is this crazy storm thing you?
Storm thing?
The storm.
What are you talking about?
It's like
the business over in India?
And here, it's happening everywhere. The whole world's going crazy.
Johnny kind of blinks a little bit, not really like his brain not really wanting to establish the truth of what he's saying. I don't know what you're talking about.
All right, man. Look, I'm glad you're here. Can you help me find the others?
Yeah.
All right, I'll watch your back. You watch my back. We're a team now.
Ramirez.
Yeah.
This thing we're coming up against is allergic to silver. He opens up his jacket. This pistol has 6 silver bullets inside of it. If it kills me, or I'm incapacitated, you need to get this gun and use it.
He looks a little mortified at the idea of killing someone. All right, but here's the thing. Here's my part, right?
Okay.
For a moment, I could feel the guy's pain. He's haunted by his daughter. He's like hearing something.
Johnny's expression of guilt is plain to see as it washes over his face.
I don't think he's all bad, and maybe if we can just get through to him or something.
He's not all bad. He didn't deserve to lose his daughter.
Let's just, let's see if we can make this better. Will you do that?
I'll try, Ramirez, but I'm not going to hold out hope for it.
Thank you. And the two of you start setting out to look for the others. Neil, we pick up again with you marking the walls with your blood and preparing the windows so that the daylight doesn't breach through and kill everyone. With you, kind of quietly watching, holding this warm little cup that he's prepared, is Fester. He can't drink it, but he can enjoy the smell while he watches you prepare their hotel room.
Except for all the weird blood runes and the circumstances. Kind of a cozy domestic scene.
Fester definitely seems interested in making the best of it. And in the bathroom, you hear the sound of the shower turning off. The sink begins to run. And then Fester moves to stand closer. So, what's supposed to happen next?
I don't know, man. We need to get back to New Haven. And we need to get Britta back to New Haven. And I don't know how to do that right now. I mean, sun's gonna be up any minute. I don't know.
I'm gonna be honest, I'm getting some pretty weird vibes from your Toreador friend there.
Yeah.
Okay, so you see it too, right?
Yeah. What? I know everything kind of went crazy after that, but when we were back at the gala, Prince Warwick had something and was talking to her, and then, like, some weird people were saying some shit to her that I didn't understand, and then, Pendragon was, like, stomping around, and, like, it was just, like, politics or whatever, but there's, like, she was, like, holding on to him, and he was holding on to her, and they did not make eye contact with me, and I don't know, man, I don't know. I'm pretty good at reading people, but then also sometimes I get inside my own head, and I'm not always the best with that.
Neil, do you want my professional opinion?
I honestly trust your opinion a lot when it comes to these kind of observations. I would, yes.
She kind of gives the impression that she's a little embarrassed. Like, no, don't rescue me.
Is that...
Like she's trying to get laid.
That...
You didn't see that? She, like, looked away from you when you tried to, like, say stuff to her?
I just... if I'm being totally honest, I kind of assumed that she just, like, was, like, nervous and didn't want me to fuck it up. Like,
yeah, no, I got that too, but I think you're missing the other half here.
It was like a hostage situation, like death on the line kind of thing.
Oh, Neil, they're fucking vampires.
Yeah, I know.
Every single conversation they have is with someone that might one day try to kill them. That's not exactly a turnoff anymore. You know what I mean? Like, this isn't like
she's been a vampire for, like, what, a couple of months, man. Like, those habits haven't had time to set in, I think. Oh God, I hope. Ugh.
Yeah, she's a toreador. It's like fucking programmed into her.
Yeah. Can she even, like...
Can she what? Let's go there. What's going on, Neil?
I
What's
wasn't
your
asking
question?
physical questions,
What's your question?
Fester.
Yeah,
I understand
I
how
didn't
sex
actually...
works, Fester.
Right.
Okay, I've done sex.
All right, just so I know that you know, explain it to me. So that way
Explain
that
it for Lola.
I just want to hear you say it so I know that you know, because I know.
I've
All right,
done
Neil.
sex.
I don't know.
Nerds.
It's
All right.
yeah, maybe, but also
No, back it up, Neil. No, we're here now.
I don't want to be here, man. It's like one of our prison guards is just, like, washing their hands in the other room. Like, I don't want to have these, like, weird conversations about their boss and, like...
So you want to wait for them to get back?
No.
The fuck's the matter with you? We talk now.
Just forget we have different ideas of what is and is not in earshot.
Don't fucking condescend me.
It's not condescending. I've had a stressful day. So have you. Can we not fight right now?
Oh, fuck that. That's half my point. So here's what I'm thinking. Okay? Your friend is, she's having a moment, right? You're here, trying to rescue her or something. What's going on?
You ever been, I didn't put a ton of thought into it, and I've been having a time recently, and...
Let's do some thinking.
Tired of things being taken away, and, you ever been kidnapped? You ever been held hostage?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. In those moments, what would you have done to have somebody there with you? Even if they couldn't do anything, just so you weren't alone.
I follow what you're saying.
Things are... I don't know, man. You and I have always been pretty tight, I think, but things are always different at home. They've been different the last couple of months. And, doing that math, doing that social math, I don't want to go back to the way things were when she wasn't around with the coterie. You know what I mean?
No, I have no fucking idea what you mean right now.
I don't know.
What's different now?
People, we're together more. We're doing things. We're moving forward. We're talking to each other. We're being proactive. We're, there's like a uniting force. There's like a glue in the middle of everything that wasn't there before, And
you think Britta's that glue?
Well, if things were different before than they are after she showed up, then yeah, I do think she's that glue. She's, Wynn's been around a lot more. Johnny and I have actually had, like, conversations and done shit together. Miles doesn't just look at me like I'm gross or useful. You know, it's been nicer recently. And maybe this is, I don't know, my perspective is probably fucking flawed because I've been wrestling with shit recently. You know, who I am as a person. How monstrous things can be. I don't know, I'm all confused. Thinking about myself like this isn't, it's really easy to look at everybody else. Sometimes it's hard to look at you and yourself. And so I don't know. Her being alone, being snatched out of the city didn't sit well with me. Not after everything. And so
this is you taking steps to make sure that things don't change too much for New Haven, eh? Okay.
that's the goal. I don't even know if it's magnanimous to say, you know, I don't know if I can say New Haven.
So here's my question for you.
Yeah.
What happens when this little neonate Toreador decides that she does want things to change?
I haven't thought that far ahead.
Well,
I don't know. The future is visible but immutable. Or visible but mutable. You know, so I mean, Fester, it's the end times, man.
the fuck does that even mean, though?
I mean,
what? It's always the end time.
I don't know. No. I mean,
yes.
like Gehenna end times, man.
Come on now. There's no such thing as Gehenna.
Mm.
No. I'm not gonna pretend. What you have is a volatile situation between the sects right now. And in the other room, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got the glue of New Haven, which probably got a better term for it.
Yeah, well, I didn't come up with the term glue of New Haven, and I didn't mean New
And
Haven.
you got,
I meant
listen,
like the code.
listen, Neil.
Okay.
Neil. And then you got the guy who has a fucking army.
Mm-hmm.
What if maybe this started as Roman's plan, but now we're in your friend's game? Maybe she's, how do I put it tenderly for you?
You
What
don't
if,
sugarcoat.
Okay, well, maybe she's going to seduce and get this guy to become invested in New Haven's future. What if she's more competent than you're giving her credit for? That's all I'm saying.
You're saying I should have faith in her. Everybody around me is so fucking self-sacrificing all the time. You know, I was hoping...
If you're waiting
maybe
for your
not
turn
everybody.
to risk it all for your friends, you're kind of missing the point.
Yeah. Hey, I don't think we really had a moment. It's a little off topic. Thanks for bringing me tonight, and I'm really, really glad that you're okay.
I appreciate the hell out of that, Neil. Thanks for slowing down long enough to see me.
Yeah.
And then, you're reminded of a conversation you never had, and a moment you never experienced, and you were taken back to the night that you were held in custody, waiting for your destiny to be determined, while on trial for your sire's crimes. And you were reminded of a moment where a figure slipped into the room, the way they approached you, the way they met your eyes, the way they gave careful instructions as though the future were laid before them, and they could plot your course as if to create a specific moment. And you hear the words not clearly, but murmured into the recesses of your mind, and you recall the need for fire, that fire would ward off the unclean and open the way to your sire. And when you come to and realize where you are, you can feel a cool breeze from the morning, the window open, smashed, light scorching down to the carpet, chunks of glass, bits from the Molotov that you quietly stepped away from Fester to make. And you can hear the distant screaming of your friend who runs through the remnants of the night in search of cover before dawn finally strikes. And you find yourself steadily closing the curtains and sunproofing the room all over again. From the bathroom, a man enters your space. He is dressed as the assassin who had hunted you through Boston, and as his hood is pulled back, you recognize your sire. Britta, you make your way down a long hallway with Roman, and once through the door, he silently closes it behind the two of you. You can feel the weight of the distant sun. Soon, it will take you, and you will be overcome with restless sleep. The old Bruja, despite the surly expression he had earlier, he seems distracted now, as if attempting to focus on reaching the next night. So slowly, he takes off the coat that is covered in blood and dust, and as he starts to remove the layer of filth from him, he looks to you. You're a soldier.
Britta's not entirely sure the meaning of that statement, and a couple possibilities run through her mind, things that he shouldn't know about her. But Britta does what she can to conceal that confusion, and looks down. By this point, walking through the hallway, most of the filth that would have gotten on her would have been left in the hallway, but there's still so much ash and remnants of the fight. I guess.
You guess.
It's not really my first thought to fight, but if it comes to it.
What is your first thought? He approaches, and as though you had no say over the matter, he pulls you by the corset and makes you hold still while he starts undoing it.
There's a soft noise of confusion. She at first thinks that she's done something that he finds to be wrong, but as soon as she understands the intention, she starts doing math in her head. She starts trying to figure out, she was there during the long process of getting this dress on with help. Does this seem like she could even be no, I'll get it off? Or does it seem like that would be mathematically impossible before the sun came up?
I think your main concern here is the morning sun.
Yeah.
Realistically, you could not get it off by yourself without a great deal of effort.
He could probably have more tact.
It's why I called it math, because I'm trying to figure out not only could I get it off by myself, and could I get it off by myself in any form of timely manner. So Britta does the math as quickly as she can, trying to figure out exactly, even if she were to protest, what it would be worth. There's a tensing as that thought happens, but especially with the roughness of how he starts. But it's the reasonable thing to do. It's just rational at this point, right? To let him help her. So she stills and says, I realize that not everything can be worked out, but I guess that is my first instinct.
Compromise?
Yeah.
And what do your instincts tell you about this Sabbat onslaught?
Why wouldn't the Vikos target you there?
As you ask, you kind of realize the two of you are in front of a mirror, and you can see his reflection behind you, considering the question. The Vikos is old. It is a loyal member of the Sabbat, but it has its own intentions, its own designs. If I were to guess, I would say that if the Vikos were to pursue me, and I were to meet final death at the hands of the Sabbat, I would be made a martyr. I might even be remembered as a good man in the eyes of my clan, and it is wise enough to know that I am none of these things. So it is better to take the victory that they came for, and plan the next step. So long as I am here, Jan Petersen's dreams of unification are unlikely.
My instinct is that it's meant to be a massive show of force, to demonstrate that those powerful in the Camarilla wouldn't be able to stand up to the Sabbat. To try and make sure that people are afraid and to use that fear.
Most of the Camarilla runs Most of them would hide and wait for someone else to fight their fights. They wouldn't exactly fetch a sword if sent to collect one in the midst of a fight. But you did.
Britta looks down. There's not really anywhere to look, with there being a mirror and the proximity. When you summoned me to kill me, you made it pretty clear that that there were certain things that you valued in potential allies. That you didn't appreciate the cowardice of running when you asked for us to meet you, and that you wanted your instructions to be understood, so I wanted to show that my coterie could be that.
An ally?
There's a lot of things that we are, but, when we decide to do something, we mean it. So, yeah. You didn't kill me, and I know that you could have. And I'm hoping that will be true for my coterie, too.
Well, the nature of my relationship with your coterie is in the hands of you and your companions. I think I have been forthright with my intentions. Have I not?
I think so.
So the question becomes, what is it that you want in all of this?
I think that we managed to fight our way out by working together. And I think that that's what's needed if the Camarilla, if all of that, if we're to survive the Sabbat.
Secrets are poison to this plan of yours. You see that, do you not?
There's not many safeties in that plan, but some secrets take even the smaller safeties away.
And I wonder what safeties are at risk. He says, running his hands down the sides of your arms until his hands are over yours. And then he starts to pull your gloves off. And then he casually tosses your gloves aside. He retakes your hands and then holds them up so that your palms are facing the mirror and your crescent moon is laid bare.
Britta instinctively would have tried to pull her hand close to herself, but she probably wouldn't have put up much of a physical resistance.
There's probably the first real demonstration of him being forceful, as he kind of does not let you recoil from what he intends to demonstrate, and he forces you to see the crescent moon on your palm.
Even in that, even when she can't fight that movement, there's the automatic curling of her fingertips inwards towards her palm, as if that could help to cover it. Likely, absolutely not with her palm being spread to face the mirror. It's just an instinct. And the absence of a heartbeat to be going crazy feels heavy in her mind, because there's just instead the silence of listening to the room. And her eyes immediately flick up to his, trying to figure out exactly. I mean, he almost did that like he knew it would be there. She's thinking through the mirror that was in the room that he provided her, the various moments, and she's trying to figure out him sitting in the limo commenting on the crescent moon outside. She's trying to figure out if he seems like he already knew something.
What trust can there be between the Black Hand and I?
The flicker of confusion on Britta's face widens to a pretty immediate jolt of apprehension as she realizes that the general of the Cambrian army against the Sabbat is asking her if she's Black Hand, effectively. And reflexively, she says, I'm not Black Hand. I know they have, I've seen on Delgado's palm this, but it's not the same thing. I don't know why it's the same.
How do you know Delgado?
He's in the killing spree. Part of that pack, we just killed his abbot.
And you know him in no other way?
Britta's already been called out on a secret that she really thought she could have kept a bit better. And she knows from his visits to New Haven that Pendragon is aware of Johnny's Sabbat rumors. She's parsing through what she wants to say there.
Don't worry about opening my can of worms. Fucking save yourself.
But Britta would worry. She doesn't want to say it, but she doesn't think that there's really a way out of the conversation that doesn't end worse than saying it, so... He was, Johnny's sire before Johnny got to the Camarilla.
My sire was also Sabbat.
Very hesitant flicker of relief that Britta regrets as soon as it gets on her face because she's not certain if that's accurate.
Does this please you? He says, clearly having noticed her reaction.
I don't... I guess I'm just hoping that it means that you would have some...
Empathy?
And the words kind of die in her throat as he echoes that word, but it does seem to be close enough to where she was going to finish her sentence, and she kind of awkwardly nods.
Empathy is not in my nature. But perhaps more importantly, it doesn't explain why you have the crescent moon. And why those kindred were looking for you.
Britta finds herself self-conscious of not just the crescent moon, but the fact of how cold that icy chill innate to her hands. And her eyes flick back up to her palm as they keep talking about it. She wants to keep looking down, but she feels so caged in that it's like one of the only ways she feels she can even squirm is to kind of look around.
While she's looking around, he takes off her corset.
An automatic jerk to try to cover herself.
Once that's happened, he goes back to preparing himself for the day's rest.
As in he lets go?
He does let go.
Well, with that being the case, she will lift... Well, it's fallen to the floor, isn't it?
Yes.
So she crosses to the nearest, is there like a little kind of that sort of end blanket? The kind of blanket at the end of a bed.
Yes.
She'll grab that and just try to cover herself quickly.
Don't make a mess, he warns. And he heads to the bathroom, stops at the doorway, and says to you, I have not decided whether or not I will toss you out to greet the sun. But know that it is on my mind.
Britta shakily nods and adjusts so to make absolute sure that the small blanket is only touching the parts of her skin that were covered by the dress, therefore no ash, no blood, no anything. Well, luckily that means her hands are perfectly clean.
They are. She was wearing gloves.
But she looks at him and very quietly, in a bit of a final plea, voice shaking, she says, I know that the people that Warwick is working with put this mark on me when I was still immortal. I don't remember much, but I've gotten bits and pieces like that. I know that they're not the Black Hand. They're a separate organization. They're called the Tamahera.
Before he closes the door, he actually looks a little disarmed by the sudden blast of truth coming from Britta about it. And he seems to close the door, starts the shower, and begins to decide what he's going to do about you.
Once the water's going, and it provides that very temporary illusion of safety, There's a kitchenette, right?
There is.
Britta will head over. Well, one thing first, actually, before the kitchenette. There's windows in this room or no?
There are.
Since her hands are clean, she will go and make sure that each and every one of them is closed. And if she has to use something to cover them further to ensure that there's not further danger from the sun, she'll do what she can. But after that, she'll go over and scrub off what she can using the kitchen sink, and probably starting sitting on the counter so that she can get the grime off of her feet and work up. She's not looking to fully clean herself, just to take that smallest chance of bettering her chances of not muddying up the room with all these, remnants of dead people and battle, and sort of dry off with, probably there's a little towelette or something, but...
As if your efforts could be sensed, you feel the pull of Roman's summons.
How strong is it?
It's pretty strong.
It's even worse because I've been summoned before, right?
Right.
I mean, I don't have a choice. That's basically I ask how strong is it because I'm basically asking how fast am I moving?
You realize you have been summoned, but by the time you do, your hand is on the doorknob.
Path of Night is a Vampire the Masquerade podcast set in the world of darkness. Britta Ashcroft the Toreador was played by Rebecca Steigelfest. Johnny Saxon the Bruja was played by Garrett Gabbey. Miles Davenport the Venture was played by Tim Davis. Neil Foster the Malkavian was played by Rob Muirhead. Wynn Cabot the Gangrel was played by Erika Webb. Your storyteller was Lex Lopez. Recording by Rebecca Steigelfest. This episode edited by Rob Muirhead. The music used in this episode was composed for Path of Night by Brian Matolius. Find him online at brianmatolius.com. Path of Night uses the 20th anniversary edition of Vampire the Masquerade with a few limited house rules. Vampire the Masquerade and the World of Darkness are owned by Paradox Interactive. Make sure to subscribe to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. We can be found on YouTube at youtube.com/@pathofnight. You can help support the show on coffee.com/pathofnight. Find us on twitter.com/pathofnightpod, on facebook.com/pathofnightpodcasts, or email us at pathofnightpodcasts@gmail.com. See you next time, Kindred.
Britta will be picking up with you and Roman Pendragon in the hotel room. Expect a lot of Erika in this scene.
I am never far. My time has come. Among other things.
Erika,
what's up?
You're just gonna have me doing some arm ups.
Yep. just really just working my biceps for that kiss motion. I will not apologize for art.
More like Roman kiss dragon.
Oh, hell yeah.
Boom. Did you just mute Garrett?
And Britta Kisscroft.
Ashcroft.
I don't think I need to be here. I think it's good.
We got this.
You do not want to leave the narration of this scene to them.
Look, shit, I already spent my narrative control.
I don't have
Erika,
that yet.
you voice Britta, I'll voice Pendragon. Let's do this.
This is what you want?
I mean,
This is what's going to happen? All right.
can I also get that?
No.
I'm so sorry for how that went down. I tore the beautiful dress you made me.
Be quiet. Let me flex my shirt off. I use potence to pop his shirt off.
I use majesty to properly convey exactly how aroused I am.
My nipples are so hard they
It's
can
like
draw
majesty,
blood.
but arousal.
I don't think that power works the way you think it does.
Rob, Rebecca is visibly squirming, but was not the one most upset by this. That would be Tim for the improper use of mechanics.
Correct. Also, I've just realized that if she's not going to pick up her phone, I'm just going to have to learn summoning.
Oh my god, you're back on this.
Yep, haven't dropped it.
Wait, I need to know. Does Miles open Does Miles answer the phone with Miles here or Prince Davenport here now?
Prince Davenport here.
Depends on who's calling.
My friends call me Miles.
He's if he sees a twin, he's
His Eminence here.
what was my what was the horrible nickname you gave? You fuck?
You fuck? Yeah, that's your status.
What do you
title.
want, you fuck? That's how he answers the phone for Wynn.
I'm never gonna be not nervous, so you just start whenever you're ready.
All right,
It's all right.
fine.
I got this for you,
Jeez,
Rebecca.
Let me.
I think I've nailed the character. Giggity.
Implications.
I seem to have got some of your blood on my nipple. Would you mind cleaning it off for me?
But your nipple is so sharp.
Okay, really quick. Is the laughter too much for your headphones right now?
No, it's all right.
Okay.
Also, that means she voluntarily bled that blood.
I couldn't tell if you were twitching out of pain
No,
or
sorry.
emotional trauma.
No, I didn't say ow. I said how.
Yeah,
Oh, Roman, I voluntarily bled that blood.
there we go. I'm good now.
Look, I'm not even needed anymore. Garrett's got this. Just
I feel like our Dark Helmet fucking playing with his action figures at this point.
oh, but Neil's here too. Whoa.
All right, like calm me down for Johnny scene.
All right, Johnny's daughter's dead. Let's go.
Okay, all right, let's focus. None of that is canon.
It's good of you to clarify that.
Only in your wildest, most amazing dreams, folks.
Oh, man. Hold on.
Shimistry, the
That
shipmaker.
was insanely distracting. Guys, come on. Be nice to me.
Suddenly the door is kicked
too
in
funny.
and Johnny, Delgado, and Carmen all burst in the room. We're here to stop this. And they all pull off their shirts with our bodies.
Your nipples aren't nearly hard enough to fight mine, Pendragon says. Drawing his sword wink.
All right.
Okay, all right, guys.
Pendragon smiles. You fell for my ruse, Johnny.
Clearly-
Suddenly, Carmen and Delgado turn on Johnny and hold him down.
All right, Garrett, you wait your turn.
I'm circling up here. Come on.
Tim, you're trying so hard. I appreciate you.
All right. Okay. For Tim.
This was your plan, Roman? In walks Miles. No, it was mine.
Prince Davenport. All right, stop it. I'm not getting involved.
We zoom out on Wynn playing with Barbie
Cannot
dolls.
help yourself, it seems like.
No, I'm sorry.